10 years since the Brexit referendum. I am 20 years old. I have grown up living with the consequences of that decision. I have a simple question. Did Brexit deliver what we were promised? My argument is simple. Brexit has had a real, measurable economic cost, not just in political arguments, but in productivity, investment, and living standards. This is not just one opinion or one forecast. This is the conclusion we keep seeing across UK institutions and independent research. The question is not what people believed in 2016. The question is, what can we learn from the evidence shown in 2026? And the evidence is clear. Firstly, in productivity. This again doesn't come from one political campaign or one think tank. This comes from the UK government's own Office for Budget Responsibility. Their estimate is that Brexit reduces long-term UK productivity by around 4% compared to staying in the EU. And more recent academic work shows that figure even higher, to around 6 to 8%. To put it simply, a smaller economy than we otherwise would have had. Secondly, investment. Because countries don't just grow by accident. They grow because business creates, invests and builds for the future. Business investment in the UK fell sharply after the referendum and has remained weaker than expected ever since. Independent studies estimate it is around 10 to 15% lower than it would have been without Brexit. And that matters because investment means jobs, it means wages, it means opportunities for the next generation, the younger generation, my generation, Alpha. They estimate this loss in productivity translates into around £470 per worker per year in lower wages over time, not just for today, but for years ahead. Thirdly, living standards. Because this is where the debate stops being about statistics and it becomes real people's everyday lives. Research from institutions like the London School of Economics has found that Brexit-related trade barriers increased costs on everyday goods, including food, contributing to higher household bills. And some estimates suggest it could amount to around £250 a year for the average household. And the Resolution Foundation has found over the long term, real wages are lower than they otherwise would have been expected to be. So when you put all three together, productivity, investment, living standards, you do not get one political slogan. You do not get one isolated focus. You get a consistent picture from official institutions and independent research. And the question then becomes, how did we get here from what we were promised? Because this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. Behind every percentage point is a real life. It's about whether young people can afford a home, whether your business can grow, whether families feel like their wages are going further. I think the biggest issue here is trust. In 2016, people were asked to make one of the biggest decisions in modern British history. They were promised that leaving would mean more control, more money and a stronger future. People were told on the side of a bus that leaving the EU would free up £350 million a week for the NHS. But now, 10 years on, we have to be honest about the gap between what was promised and what actually happened. Because democracy, it doesn't depend on everyone getting every decision right. Democracy depends on us being willing to look at the evidence afterwards and ask, did this work? What can we learn and what should we do next? 10 years ago, Britain chose a new direction. Today we have the chance to choose what comes next. Not based on nostalgia, not based on slogans, not based on fear, based on reality. And the future isn't built on ignoring the evidence, it's built by facing it. So the question for 2026 is, now that we know the cost, What should we do next? Thank you very much.